It wasn't ever you. That story, that narrative, that pain, right? That the narrative that we've created, the story that's holding us back now. We can snip the ties from that.
You get to decide what life is and what life meant and what you are going to do about the things that happen to you. None of us have to stay a victim. You might have been victimized, but choosing to be a victim is a choice. Hey everybody, this is Bianca.
And this is Emilia.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are making evolution possible for growth-minded humans through vulnerable lessons, stories, and technology. What do we have in store for them today?
We got episode 143. It is a Motivation Monday, so happy Monday, y'all. Is your story holding you, my friends, back? Is your story holding you back? That's a big question. In this episode, Bianca and I are going to go into a quick little story of one of my clients where their story was sincerely holding them back. And as she started to understand this more and more, she started to be able to break this story and rewrite the script. So we believe it's going to be super powerful for each one of you so that you can understand where your story might be holding you back, how you can break that, and where to move from that. So let's get into it.
10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes on the clock. All right.
10 minutes.
Pull up a chair, folks.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a client, going to keep it anonymous, but I think that this client is a wonderful avatar for so many people that are out there that we very much connect with. We have helped serve in so many different regards, and I'm so happy and honored to have helped in her journey. So this in particular client, she has a story, the deepest part of her story, the deepest belief that she has, and she is working through, is that she's not good enough. And this has come out in so many instances, whether it be, her trying to move forward with a job interview, or whether this is coming forward in maybe at the gym, or in her ability to, overcome any challenge that she has. There's always this inner dialogue that she has and that she struggles with that comes up and reminds her that she's not good enough. And while working with this client, seeing her journey has been probably one of the greatest gifts of my life, because I didn't really realize, honestly, how much this story plagues society. It has given me a heart for so many people, more than I can ever say. And it's spoken to that brain, that mental capacity that struggles with empathy and vulnerability so much, more emotional understanding than I've ever been able to get in my 27 years, now 28 years of my life. So this client, this story that she has, that she's not good enough, where did that come from? Why is it plaguing her? And why is it always coming up when she's trying to do anything that serves her, that helps her be a greater version of herself, that helps her be inspired, excited, empowered for what's ahead of her? What we started to find out is really that ultimately this story, it was wired. Like many of us have these stories that are wired, that are developed, that are scripted at a very, very young age. And what happens is that we hear someone else's messages, or we observe other people's behaviors when we're very young, and we interpret that to be a story. Mm-hmm. So for this client in particular, great example. So what we found out through our coaching was that her deep-seated story that was holding her back, and that's holding her back in certain areas far less now than ever. And I'm so effing proud of her. But it really came down to this mother root. And we identified it in one of our recent coaching calls, which is what got me so excited to want to bring it to each one of you. Because this root that created, that ignited, that perpetuated the story that she had was that she was interpreting the messages that she heard growing up. That was, in fact, the tertiary truth, and I'll get into what that is in a second, the tertiary truth of everyone else as their story, as the story that is actually hers. So what is tertiary truth and why does it matter? And why does Emilia believe that this will help everyone on this Motivation Monday? Okay, I'm going to throw a digital asset in the show notes and I want everyone to take a peek at that. So I want you, if you don't have the ability to download that digital asset right now, I want you to think about like the Target brand logo sign, right? There's 3 rings. It's a Target. You have ring number 1 that's at the center. You have ring number 2 that's a little further out, and then ring number 3. Okay, so everyone...
Think of a bullseye.
Bullseye, thank you. So everyone has, in an extent, developed a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary truth over the course of their lives. They've had to develop and model and rewire how they say things, or create armor, if you will, a shield, so that other people don't know their deepest insecurities, their deepest pain, their deepest fears. Why? Because the world is cruel, for sure, and a lot of people have struggled in general, historically, to express vulnerability as a strength. So our tertiary truths, which is what primarily when you're engaging with someone, this is where you're talking to them, right? This is at the level where, oh, how are you? Everyone's saying, oh, we're good. I'm good. How are you? That's a tertiary truth. What we say our deepest pain to others is, fun fact, in tertiary truth, we don't even acknowledge. We don't even know our pain exists. Right?
The tertiary truth is what we want others to see and believe about us. Even if it's not true, it's what we want the world to see. It's the outer layer.
The outer layer of communication. So if you were to dig into that a little bit deeper, right? Everyone has a secondary truth. Okay. So this is what we say our deepest pain is to ourselves. So maybe we're acknowledging of this. Maybe we're like, oh, okay, like I actually really don't feel good about myself. I really don't feel good about myself, period. Like that's the secondary truth that someone might be able to get to in the statistical analysis of people, right? Not a lot of people ever get to their secondary truth. The primary truth is the deepest root. This is where what our deepest pain truly is in the world. This is where that truth lives. Not many people see their deepest pain. So for that person that has gotten to the level of they understand that they don't really feel good about themselves, their primary truth really is that I never felt loved growing up.
Can I pause you really quick?
Yeah.
I just want to make that visual a little bit more tangible. So I want to just reiterate what you said. So the inner truth, that primary number 1 is what deep down inside of us we really see and feel about ourselves. It is that darkest part of us that's like we would never want anyone to see this. This is the part that we're like running away from, basically. Our secondary truth is the story we are telling ourselves about ourselves. It's a little fabricated. It's a little better than the truth. We're hiding a little bit from that primary truth. So it's like, I'll use an example. If you're in really bad health, let's say that's your primary truth. You are in really bad health. Your secondary truth might be, well, it's bad, but it's not that bad. Right? It's the little like justifications that we put on things. So it's what we want to tell ourselves about ourselves. The tertiary truth is what we tell everyone else. Yeah. We don't want people seeing that in the secondary or the primary. So this is what we want the world to see. And fun fact, this is social media. This is everything that we are trying to show people and what we want the world to see us as. We don't want the world seeing that secondary layer or that inner layer. So I just wanted to explain that a little bit more.
Thanks, B. Yeah. So why is this framework? Why does this visual come in? Why is this so helpful for you? Right? Like my client, I helped her to see that all of the people that she had grown up around, they were speaking from their tertiary truths. They were speaking in a way that they never acknowledged nor wanted to see their own pain. And as a young girl, what she had done, she took that tertiary truth, because obviously this younger version of herself, of course, she doesn't understand that people are talking only in their tertiary truth. They don't acknowledge their primary truth. She doesn't even know that exists, right? Her mom, her dad, all these people are heroes to her. They don't have any pain, right? And so we helped to see that this tertiary truth that was spoken when she was younger, because there's zero vulnerability in her family and her upbringing and any of that, right? No one's ever acknowledged the primary pain. She interpreted those messages as she's not good enough. Not that all of those people in her life were struggling deeply, swimming in pain, and they had no way to communicate that to her so that she did not internalize that pain as her own, and that she was not good enough. So for each one of you, we all were raised by others that were likely in very much a tertiary truth communication. And we likely did not have the awareness at that young age that they're actually communicating what isn't the truth. And we somehow internalize that's our story. We're not good enough. And this narrative for each one of you, whatever that is, however you interpreted or internalized those people's tertiary truths, what's the amazing and incredible part about this is that once you realize that everyone that you grew up around only was communicating to you in tertiary truths, you realize you weren't the cause of their pain. It wasn't ever you. That story, that narrative, that pain, right? That the narrative that we've created, the story that's holding us back now, we can snip the ties from that. We can change the story. We can change the script. And so my final takeaway for all of you here, I want us thinking about, what is your story? What is holding you back? What is the voice that comes in anytime you ever try to do something new, do something different, do something that serves you? This will help illuminate what that story is, whether you can or whether you can't, whether it's too scary or whether you can do it. And whatever that story is that is seemingly holding you back, you can take that narrative and rewrite it in a way that does serve you. And I think that is the most powerful thing that there ever could be in this world.
I know we got to wrap up, but that exactly what you said is the reason why I don't follow the narrative of everything happens for a reason. I follow that narrative, that no matter what happens, no matter what you go through, no matter the stories that you were told or the stories that you internalized and believed about yourself, you have the potential, going back to our last episode, you have the ability to change the narrative. You get to decide what life is and what life meant and what you are going to do about the things that happen to you. None of us have to stay a victim. You might have been victimized, but choosing to be a victim is a choice. You don't have to be a victim. You can be a survivor. You can be someone who thrives. You can be someone who takes the things that happens and changes that story. And I know that this is something that I've been trying to do my entire life. I know this is something that Emilia has done, and this is something that we do with all of our clients and that we are trying to bring out to the world. None of us have to be a victim. And you shouldn't.
Yeah, for sure. And we're not doing our due diligence if you're a part of this community and you feel that way, if you feel as though your story is holding you back, Bianca and I are not doing what we are here to do. We are passionate, so deeply passionate about changing the script and helping to empower, put the pen back in your hand. And if this is, I'm telling every single person, if you are struggling with this, please reach out to us. We literally live to help you in this arena. Bianca and I, like the client that I was talking about in here, she is now more empowered than ever. And I am so proud of how far she's come. And honestly, she would not be able to come this far if she didn't have the courage to look at her story, to reread her story and ask, is this true? And then have others swap people out in her life that can help her look at this story and say, no, this is not the truth. This was a tertiary truth. This is not your truth. It does not need to be your story, right? So if we can do that for one client, imagine what we could do for you and your life, the people that you love and care about that might be struggling with this. Please reach out to Bianca and I. Like I said, we live for this. This is our passion. This is our purpose. This is what we do in the world. And if you're a part of the Evolve community and you don't feel safe enough to reach out and at least just do like a little help in this arena, we're not doing our job. So please reach out. We want everyone to feel like they can change the script.
It's possible. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.